Rob Williams is the national sports editor of the Daily Hive and its Offside Sports Vertical. He joins us on Thursdays. And Rob, are the Canucks a Stanley Cup contender? This is your number one topic here today. 16 games in, baby.
Capital
and
C,
we're
lowercase
talking
c.
Cup contender.
Guys, I don't know what like my head is spinning with this start.
Ditto.
Franchise best record after 16 games. They're leading the Western Conference. There's only the Boston Bruins ahead of them in the NHL standings. Look at all the teams around them. Like, there's not a bunch of pretenders around them. Are the Canucks just the one pretender in that group? For the first time, this is like first time in 10 years, I'm asking the question, like, can they win the Stanley Cup this season? Not, are they a favorite? They're not a favorite, of course, right? Like, I don't think it's going to happen. But are they in the mix? And to me, the question has changed from, can this team make the playoffs, right? Remember Rutherford, like, if everything goes right, we are a playoff team. Well, he didn't say, like, if everything goes right, we'll be leading the Western Conference and have the 3 top scorers in the NHL. I mean, everything has gone right beyond anyone's wild imagination. And I see a few people on Twitter trying to dunk on people now. Like, that's a bit of nonsense, I think, right now. There's people that were more optimistic than I, but nobody saw this. Like, this is at a level that just nobody saw coming. And that's the question for me, is like you look at this team, yeah, they're getting some bounces with PDO, and that's a little high right now. But the players they have that are going right now, like, do we think that Quinn Hughes isn't for real? Do we think Thatcher Demko's not for real? Do we think Leif Pettersson's not for real? Like, there's a lot of reason to believe that this team could, they have a chance. That's what I'm saying. They have a chance. They're in the mix. Don't make any travel plans in June just in case, right?
And here's the thing, like, is this the quietest NHL scoring leader ever in Elias Pettersson? And this is not to denigrate him at all, because it was a fabulous feed to JT Miller and a great shot too from Miller. But like, I still think Elias Pettersson has something to give here at 26 points and leading the National Hockey League. Like, the Miller and Hughes feel like they're on a heater. Pettersson just feels like he's just doing his thing. Like, it actually doesn't feel like a spectacular Pettersson season. So as much as there's regression possibilities in many places, I think there's still improvement available for Elias Pettersson.
I think that's a great observation. I mean, some people have been wondering if he's, playing through something right now, like playing through a bit of an injury, which makes it all the more incredible. This is the first time I think we've seen where all of the Canucks stars, like the whole core group, is all going all at the same time, right? Like, Miller had that great season, but Pettersson, wasn't himself in the first half of the year and didn't have the year like he had last season when Miller dropped off. And Besser, of course, has not been himself for a few years. Demko struggled last year, but Hughes had the struggles in the bubble year. Like, everyone's going now, and that's it's hopefully it lasts. But yeah, with every single one of these wins, I'm beginning to think, like, geez, this team, this is not a blip anymore. I don't even know if we can call this a start anymore. Like, we're now into, like, starting to be into the meat of the season here. And I think another thing about this Canucks team that we've said for so long is, remember, we've always said the mix is wrong, right? They had the wrong mix. They didn't have anyone that could kill a penalty. And I think the mix is looking pretty good right now. Like, the additions that they made in the offseason, Ian Cole, I think, has been a fantastic addition on defense. Like, the bottom 6 forwards that they've added have really provided a boost and the right kind of boost. I think the Lafferty addition is just been perfect for what this team needed. You look at all that, and the best mix of all, I think, is Rick Tocchet. I mean, that is the perfect coach for this team right now. And you get the sense with the Canucks, like, they're not like, they're not really having these ups and downs and getting fat and happy after wins and then having disappointing next game, they just seem like all business. Like it just seems like all the years of losing, they are just sick of it now, and they have come in to this season and are proving that they can be a great team.
This is the twisted sister theory. We're not going to take it anymore, Rob.
But I must admit, there's a part of me that I've watched a lot of Canucks hockey. You know, I've watched like decades of Canucks hockey. So there's a part of my brain that's like ready for it all to come crumbling down. But you know, if you take that away, I'm looking at this team and I'm like, okay, like the defense worries me. I think that's the one part where they do need to improve the defense. But other than that, I feel like the mix and everything they have here is looking pretty darn great.
Well, I was going to take you on, Robin, and ask, are they deep enough? Are they too top heavy? Do you need to see more at even strength to call them a cup contender? You apparently don't, but would those be the worries?
Yeah, I mean, like when I say cup contender, like I'm not saying like this is like they're in the that I'd rank them top 5 in odds. I'm just saying, like, are they in the mix? Like, could they win the Stanley Cup this year? And you know, I mean, remember that 100-point team under Willie Desjardins? They went to the playoffs. Like, no, everyone I think understood that year. Like, this team is not winning the Stanley Cup. But today's team, like, could they win the Stanley Cup? 2 weeks ago, I would have said no, but now I'm not so sure. So that's where I think they've put themselves into the mix. I do think they need to make additions on defense, and I think that's why we're hearing so much talk about like Chris Tanev and Zadorov. I think they, you know, they do need a second pairing defenseman to really solidify that, and preferably a right shot D. I'm not sure if Tanev's game is where it was, you know, a couple of years ago, and so that would be maybe my concern. Otherwise, you know, Tanev from 2 years ago, it was the perfect addition for this team. Help a bit more on the penalty kill. The penalty kill still hasn't been a tire fire like it has in the past, but it's not bad. You know, it's capable. It's, you know, respectable at minimum. So adding someone like that to help on the PK, and someone you know can play with Hughes, or you can slide him onto the second pair if you want to play him down the lineup. I think they need something like that. I wouldn't give up what the you know, the reports of what Calgary's looking for. I don't think you give up the farm for a soon to be 34-year-old. But I do think they need to shore up the D. I think that's the one part where I'm feeling a little less confident right now.
Would you do Höglander in a second for Tanev?
No.
Would you, Blake?
Yeah, I think I might.
I think you wait and see what else becomes available. I think you can get somebody for a little bit less than that. Particularly, you know, expiring contract, injury prone, and like I'm the biggest Tanev fan out there, but like, you know, injury prone, you know, expiring contract. Like, you know, I could see them trading for him. He gets injured the next game, and then you've just given away, you know, 2 pretty good assets. For nothing. So I do think I think that price is too high, but so I do think you wait and see and try to make another addition at some point. I don't think they need, you know, clearly right now they don't need to be in a panic move. You wait and see what becomes available. But yeah, that's something that they clearly need to add. But again, the other things, you know, like everything has gone right for this team for the most part, but they still do have guys where you can go, okay, you know, look, you know, if Kuzmenko misses some time here, you know, you're not bringing up, you know, guys that have never played top 6 minutes into your top 6 now. Like, you've got guys like Garland and Beauvillier that, you know, I could envision them stepping in and you know, and contributing and being able to add some points on the board for the Canucks in a top 6 role.
I think we all knew this was going to be a heavy game for Bo Horvat, and I don't mean heavy hockey. We knew he was a feeler. We knew how much playing here and being the captain of the Vancouver Canucks meant to him. Did you expect to see that much emotion? And Rob, did you get emotional watching that?
I was not myself emotional watching it. But no, I did not expect. I didn't think he was going to get emotional. Actually, that part definitely surprised me. The rest of the night, I think what went about is what I expected. I thought there'd be some audible boos. I didn't think it would be like when Steve Francis came back and played the Grizzlies or anything like that. It's not like Brad Marchand rolled into the building after 2011. You know, it wasn't on those kind of levels at all, but audible boos certainly. And but that kind of petered out. You know, it was pretty muffled and half-hearted booing, I would say, after you know, the first period, certainly. And I think a wonderful ovation from Canucks fans where, you know, people stood and applauded a guy. I think that, you know, like if there'd been more team success, you know, he'd be viewed differently because he was, you know, I think a heart and soul player that came into Vancouver and just so happened to be playing at a, you know, a time where there was a lot of losing and you know, had a lot of lean years through mostly no fault of his own.
It seemed just about right. The tone all night long with regards to Bo, and might be a shred of jealousy now too, because you know, what are they, 6 losses in a row now for the Islanders? Mm-hmm. He's in no better a spot than he was necessarily with the Canucks when he left.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of reminds me, like, you remember when like Matt Duchene wanted out of Colorado because he was just sick of all those years of losing, like forget this, and then he just immediately goes to all these losing teams while Colorado becomes a Stanley Cup champion. Yeah, I mean, remains to be seen what the next few years look like in Vancouver, but I think Bo could have. I mean, you could have predicted that the Islanders, you know, to sign long term on Long Island with you know, the ages of most of their best players. That always seemed like a bit of a risky proposition to me. So I wonder if he'll be, you know, regretting the long term commitment in New York.
Yeah, some anchor contracts there as well. He knows a thing or two about those. Mm-hmm. Rob, great stuff. Thanks for this. Catch up next Thursday.
Thank you.
This great clip brought to you by, wait for it, Great Clips. It's going to be great.